let's see what the cards have to say for you today. The very first thing that I was kind of picking up on was there's this energy of maybe wanting to escape something that's out of your control, or like wanting to like run away from something, if that makes sense, like not wanting to face something. Okay, they're saying that there's this energy of where maybe you were kind of like going towards something that felt very victorious to you. It felt like you were kind of pulling yourself together and going towards something that was just like magical, beautiful, if that makes sense. But then there's this energy of where maybe it flipped a little bit and you kind of had to take a bit of rest. You had to kind of like not do as much, if that makes sense. Like maybe you feel like you're not doing good enough, and it feels like everything's kind of like falling apart because you rested and you weren't like being on your A game all the time or something like that. And now you're just really in your head about it and you're just kind of having trouble like getting out of your head about it. Like they're saying like maybe just like reignite the spark of it, if that makes sense. Reignite the love that you have for it, and don't put like crazy limitations on yourself or like crazy expectations on yourself for like not being exactly who you wanted to be or not being exactly who you feel like you should be, because at the end of the day you are who you are. There also might be this energy of where you feel like you've been postponing something. Like it might be the same situation, like it might be like replaying in your head a little bit, if that makes sense. Like you're just postponing something. It's been a long time coming to get this started, and maybe you feel like you haven't been following your intuition, and maybe you feel like you haven't been your friend in this situation. Like you haven't been fully like committed to yourself or committed to like your projects, your ideas. Okay, they're also wanting to talk about a relationship that is a very good reflection to you. Maybe they help you see your faults, they help you see your victories, they help you see good things. But also, there's this energy where you kind of are putting up a boundary with this person at this time, and you're kind of focusing a little bit more on yourself. You're not so focused on this person, because the more you kind of focus on yourself, the more you kind of like love yourself, the more you kind of feel better about yourself, if that makes sense, rather than staying stuck, like focusing on this person all the time. Like maybe when you were sitting here focusing on this person all the time, it was giving you some sleepless nights. It was making you feel a little bit of anxiety. It's making you feel like you just were defeated maybe at times. And maybe even it made you feel a little bit defensive or maybe like jealous or possessive or something over this person. Or maybe they were feeling that way towards you and you kind of were like, hey, like take a step back, let's chill. Or if you were feeling that way about this person, you were like, hey, let's take a step back, let's chill, let's focus on us, not so much this person. Whoa. They're saying that basically you're in a period of your life where you're kind of like teaching yourself things and you're kind of taking yourself on your own journey rather than like looking for outside validation from other people. And you're kind of like standing in your own power. You're taking your control back over yourself. You know what I mean? Um, there's this energy though of where there's someone that is like very emotionally available, or maybe you are the emotionally available person that is kind of very content with themselves and they're kind of just like really focused on themselves. Like, I don't know, there's this energy of where like you might like hyper focus on something and just continue to hyper focus on it throughout the day. And it might go through like a loop, if that makes sense. Like 1 minute you're hyper focusing on this, then the next you're hyper focusing on this, then you're back to hyper focusing on the first thing you were hyper focusing about. I don't know. There also might be something you're a little bit confused about. Like maybe there's someone that is very wise, very logical, very much like they're very good with their words, they're good at communicating, and they're kind of good at telling you the truth. But maybe you're a little bit confused about this person for some reason. Like maybe you can see that you can see their work, you can see what they've done with themselves, you can kind of see how they've improved themselves and kind of made themselves who they are today, and how they kind of had to let go of a lot of things. They really had to kind of like go through a lot of emotional battles. They had to go through a lot of different like turmoil and stuff like that, but they let it go. They didn't let it consume them, if that makes sense. Like instead of letting it consume them, they let it take charge towards their future. They let it kind of like empower them. They let it kind of like feed their inner child of being like, hey, look, we're in a different place than where we were when we were younger. And it may not be the best, but look at where we're going, look at where we're heading, kind of stuff. Like they're very optimistic about their future and what they could become. And they were also very like nurturing towards their own path, if that makes sense. Like they understood that not everyone was going to understand their path. They understood that not everyone was going to agree with their path, or people weren't going to necessarily be exactly like supportive of them, if that makes sense, but they still took the risk and went towards what they wanted. And there's this energy of where like maybe you were sitting back and being a little bit stagnant towards what you wanted, and maybe you feel like you betrayed yourself because you could have put yourself in like a similar situation where you were going towards your goals. You weren't listening to like the negative people talking about like why you shouldn't do this, why you shouldn't do that. And there's this energy of where like it's never too late, you know what I mean? There's still an option to try, there's still an option to like go towards these things, you know what I mean? And still like experience what it is that you want to experience in this life. Like the future is unlimited, you know what I mean? Or I feel like more like there's this energy where you feel like the future is limited. Like there's this energy where like you feel like you have this life that you're living right now and you're going to live this life for the rest of your life, and you're having trouble seeing that you can change, you can do things different, and you can try different things just within the capacity that you have, you know what I mean? Like not everyone's going to have the same ability to do things the way that they want to, you know what I mean? Like you're going to have to do it in the way that you can, if that makes sense. Like it's not always going to be perfect, but like let go of perfectionism, allow yourself just to be who you are, you know what I mean? There also might be this energy of where you're like waiting for victory in your life. Like you're like, okay, if I go towards this, is it going to bring me victory, or am I just going to sit here and look dumb, if that makes sense? Like you might look a little dumb at first, you know what I mean? Because you're going to have to try and you're going to have to freaking like go out there and put yourself out there and do your things that you want to do. But that's kind of part of the balance, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of part of like, look at where I started and look at where I ended up. They're also saying that maybe you're being very like logical about your depression or things like that, like things that are just kind of making you really upset. You like go into your mind and you tell yourself how to like get yourself out of it. You're very like wise within that situation, and you're very good at bringing yourself into calmer waters with your own mind. Like you don't let your emotions consume you whenever you're going through like massive depression. You let your mind kind of like guide you. There also might be like this youthful energy that you have with someone that you work with. Like maybe this person is just kind of a little bit impulsive. They're just kind of a little bit bold, if that makes sense. Like they're just not very like smart sometimes. Um, but there's this energy where like it might take you a little bit of strength to be around this person sometimes, because you're like, dang, bro, you are literally putting so many burdens on my back. You are sitting here, you're making things harder for everybody. And it's honestly not like, it's not good energy, you know what I mean? But you're sitting there trying to be like a parent figure to this person and be like, hey, look, this is how we can grow, this is how we can change. But maybe they're just kind of stuck in their ways, you know what I mean? Like they're not choosing to be better. They're choosing to stay in their like youthful spirit, if that makes sense. They're choosing to stay childish. Um, but like in the future, they're gonna find out what they need to find out, you know what I mean? Like this person's gonna grow and they're going to learn, but within their own time. Like there's this energy of where like you want them to learn and grow now, but like let them grow and learn on their own time. Let them go through their own lessons. Let them kind of experience what they need to experience, you know what I mean? You can definitely be a guide. Like there's this energy of where like you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make the horse drink the water, if you know what I mean. Like you can lead them and guide them and be there for them, but like don't expect them to take your wisdom, if that makes sense. Like allow them just to kind of like take what resonates and leave what doesn't, you know what I mean? Things are going to work for them, things aren't going to work for them. There also might be some sort of family situation that you've been juggling recently, like maybe you've been wanting to communicate with a specific family member and kind of help them see something from a higher perspective, or maybe teach them something about maybe their finances or something like that. Like you want them to be a little bit more responsible. You don't want them to sit there and like waste their life away with kind of doing whatever it is that they're doing. But there's also this energy of where you can see their passion that they have towards the things that they're kind of investing themselves into, you know what I mean? Like there's this energy of where they're like you're letting them be young still, you know what I mean? You're still letting them kind of like experience what life could be like before the adult things kind of start to take over. But there's this energy where you're a little bit just conflicted about this. You're like, dude, look, you could be saving towards your future. You could be setting yourself up rather than letting yourself like drown, if that makes sense. Um, but like allow them to have their temporary success. You know, everyone's going to have a shadow that they're going to have to work through. Everyone's going to have something that you're not going to understand. People are just going to be people, you know what I mean? And it might be overwhelming sometimes to deal with this, but like at the end of the day, just do what you need to do, you know what I mean? They're also saying that maybe you were kind of like protecting someone that broke your heart. Like there's this energy where you're trying to heal from the situation and kind of let it go. But there's this energy where this person kind of came into your life and you were like, hey, I need to protect this person. I need to keep this person safe. I need to like be there for this person. I want to share my blessings with this person type energy. You know what I mean? But then they kind of came through and like broke your heart in some kind of way. They betrayed you in some kind of way. They made they did like some mischievous things that kind of just weren't necessarily serving you, and maybe they kind of thought they were getting away with it. Like they didn't think that you seen it, they didn't think that you understood what they were doing, they didn't think that you seen through their manipulation type energy. But there's this energy where like you were still there for this person even when they were doing things like this. You were like, hey, let's pick ourselves up, let's heal, let's keep going, let's keep growing, you know what I mean? But this person was just really shady energy. Like that's why this relationship has to end, or it had to end, if that makes sense. Like this person is shady, they're taking from you, they're not like they're not giving to you, if that makes sense. They're just taking, they're using, if that makes sense. And it's okay to choose your happiness and accept defeat, you know what I mean? Like there's this energy where like you're allowed to be curious towards other options and see what the world can offer you, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you might not ever find someone like this person, but that might be a blessing to you, you know what I mean? Like, it might suck at first because you're like, dang, this person was so good, this person was all this, they were all that, but they were also so dark and so negative and like not good for you, you know what I mean? Like, allow yourself just to really like accept the defeat and see like the universe has so many things out there. There's so many different types of people out there. There's so many different, like, there's so many fish in the sea, you know what I mean? Okay. They're saying that maybe you've been holding on to some sort of confidence that you have, surrounding some sort of justice. Like there's some sort of justice that you know that you're going to receive, and things are gonna like kind of like turn in your favor. Basically, like this is someone's karma, um, and you're really ready for this cycle to be completed, and you're really ready to kind of like step into your new chapter and kind of like accept the duality of life. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna win, but that person's gonna lose. But like at the end of the day, that person had to lose so that they could see their wrongs, so they could see their faults. You know what I mean? Okay, they're also saying that you might be a little bit indecisive about some sort of manifestation. Maybe there's one that came in recently, but maybe when it came in, it wasn't the time that you wanted it to come in. Like it was like this energy of being like, you know what, this isn't something that I want anymore. Like it was good at one point, but now you're kind of not down for it. But it also could still bring it back like some good energies. You know what I mean? Like if you want to re-spark the love of that situation, re-spark like the joy of being in that manifestation, you know what I mean? Like your past self would be like, dang, look at you go, look at where you made it. But there's this energy where you're like, you know what, I have bigger and better things to do now. Like I just don't have time for this anymore. But like if you want to go towards it, go towards it, you know what I mean? You have nothing to lose, you have the manifestation now.